Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland in Kirkland, Washington, just outside of Seattle, with sadly perhaps the last of a generation of vehicles, the 6-speed Infiniti G37. Gone is the name G37 and supplanted by a new vehicle, the Q50, and the Q50 does not have a manual shift, and also the Q50 does not have that kind of visceral experience that the G37 is noted both favorably and unfavorably for. A lot of people say, gosh, that car is just so rough and it's not refined like some of the other brands. Yet there's an audience that takes a look at a G37 and says, you know what, that's exactly why I like it. It's a throwback to the way cars used to be. Fun, connected to the road, you feel every single bump, and then of course a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I think Infiniti is the first to admit that they just don't have that savoir-faire, that immediate when a car pulls up and the valets are ready to fist fight over it like a Mercedes-Benz. They don't have that kind of smooth, calculated precision the way a BMW has. They don't have that to die for interior when you open up the door and you're like, wow, like how the Audi has. Yet they do have something that the others don't have, and that's huge horsepower in a reliable package. Japanese built, no timing belt, they're all chain driven, extremely reliable, and that's definitely proven out over time. And then again, big power for not very much money. This car loaded the way this one is, all 6 speeds are fairly well loaded, but if you take a look at like a comparable 335i, that car is $10,000 more expensive than this car is and isn't as fast in a lot of characteristics. In fact, if you or me were to take this, forget professional race car drivers and perfect scenarios, but if you or me were to take a 335 out and this car out and just go race it around town, I would think you also would say, I like the BMW for a lot of reasons. I just think that the Infiniti is actually a faster car and a more competent and capable car. And sure, it may feel every bump along the way, but you know what? That's part of the deal. And I think that people are going to be fondly recalling the days of the G37 5 years from now, 10 years from now, kind of the way it reminds me of when BMW dropped the 2002 model lineup and went with the 320i. The 320i was a million times more modern than the 2002, yet what do collectors crave? They crave that 2002. Let's take a look at this particular car, black on black. That's kind of the most popular color combination in just about everything Infiniti sells. They all come with xenon lights. They all come with 328 horsepower to go with 270 pound-feet of torque. They all come with these made by Enki 18-inch high-performance wheels. And then not all Type S's are 6 speeds, but all 6 speeds are Type S's. And Type S in a 2-wheel drive, which this is rear-wheel drive, has these really big brakes, these high-performance sports brakes, where in an all-wheel drive Type S, A, you can't get a 6-speed manual transmission, and B, they do not come with those big brakes. Taking a look around, this particular car just traded in 5-10 minutes ago, and so you'll notice a couple of scuffs here and there. It hasn't been buffed, hasn't been washed, hasn't been anything. This is just as we're seeing it. Inside, we mentioned the Audi. Audi's just making an interior that's cut above what everybody else is, and so to compare this against the Audi is going to leave this car wanting. However, there's one thing that this car has that the other cars don't have. It has probably the most comfortable seat as far as just kind of holding you snug. This is a really dynamite seat. The sport seats in this car, I'll be honest, if you're fat, if you're heavy, you're not going to enjoy this car as much. If it just the seats themselves are a wee bit narrow in the sports package, but if you're, I'm 200 pounds, 6 feet tall, I'm a perfect size for this, 220, 225, you're in pretty good shape, but if you're bigger than that, it's going to start to pinch in on your love handles. But at this size of driver, you really feel good, and this seat is like, wow, it's just really comfortable. The leather is actually very high quality leather. Two-tone stitching is really nice. The tilt and telescopic feature, I don't know why they got rid of this feature in the new Q50. It's not only a really great feature, but it's kind of a hallmark of the Infiniti brand. Sure, it's got tilt and telescopic steering, but you'll notice when I go up and down with the steering column, the entire gauge assembly goes up and down with the steering wheel, and so the steering wheel never blocks my line of view because the gauge assembly moves in tandem with it. Why they got rid of that feature? Mysteries of the universe. Taking a look in back, Well, I'm really comfortable in front, so let's see what the person in back is having to endure. Again, at 6 feet tall, I'm not even touching the seat, so I'm in good shape back here. 5 people, I highly doubt that, at least with any degree of comfort. But 4 people, yeah, you're great. And then it has theater seating, so the person in the back sits higher than the person in the front, so you actually still see everything ahead of the car. Trunk space. He's got all of his doodads in there, but still, it's a nice size trunk for a rear-wheel drive high-performance car. A lot of people say, well, you know, it's not as big as other vehicles, you know, typically front-wheel drive-based vehicles, but still, it does what you need it to do, unless you're really loading it up for bear at Costco or going on a really long trip with some hard edge luggage or anything like that. It's actually very spacious for the real world. And then it has strut mounted shocks here, and so or struts as opposed to the actual hooks. And so a lot of times you'll see these trunks will have hooks that go down here. So as soon as you close the trunk, they kind of impinge on everything below. But this is its own separate deal, and so when I close the lid here, nothing is compromised. Rear view camera, navigation, all manuals come with a navigation package. Let's jump inside and turn it on. There's a 3-letter concept, NVH, in the car business. You hear it all the time if you sell cars for a living. Noise, vibration, and harshness. Our Mariners are playing the Yankees and winning, so we like that. And the cars nowadays, that's everything. You know, they want the car quiet. They want the noise to be gone. Vibration. They don't want you to feel all the undulations in the road. And the harshness, the actual way that the car jerks around. Those are things that they don't want cars to be that way. Where the G37 has a loud exhaust on purpose. It has big wheels and high performance tires that really hold on to the road like they're holding on for dear life. The handling on this car is absolutely incredible. Dynamite, real world handling. It's just loud. There's no other way to say it. And so harshness, it's 328 horsepower. When I put this thing in gear and lay down on the gas, magic is happening right this very second. Turn on the stereo system too, and take a look in here.
Joe Friday and I'm Vancouver. We were searching for some high in the sky song.
Great Bose stereo system, nice size navigation, it's 3-dimensional, it's all voice driven, touchscreen, modern as far as that goes, and no, it's not as big as some of the brand new things, but again, this car is a throwback to the way cars were maybe 10 years ago or so, which makes sense. I mean, this car came out in 2006 as a 2007 model as the G35, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a dynamite car that was a quantum leap ahead of its time when it came out in 2007 as the G35, and I still think it's a really neat, fun car. There are exactly no 6-speeds available on the open market ever. They're an absolute thrill to drive. You're the only one in town who has one, and resale value is actually terrific on these cars because nobody has them. You can't get them. And for people who are truly enthusiasts, they're dying for this car. It's just nowhere to be found. This particular car with 14,000 miles, super low miles for a 2012, it's going to be in superb condition. It's a little bit dusty right now. It's just traded in. But if you have any questions about this car, you'd like to get some of the reconditioning receipts or anything like that faxed to you or scanned to your email, I'm happy to provide that for you. If you have any questions about G37s in general or this particular car, please don't hesitate to give me a call. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the sales manager at Infiniti of Kirkland. You can call me anytime, 425-821-1600, or just drop me an email at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.